Hi again, it's Andre, and we are in my 2011 Toyota Corolla S. I'm going to show you that the steering wheel does have an issue, that it does, one, always leans to the right, and two, does not come back to center. Now, I have been arguing with Toyota, as there is a problem with this vehicle, and I do consider it to be a safety issue, and it is dangerous driving, because it makes for a very unnatural feel, especially during wintertime when you're driving in snow or on ice. You're always having to recorrect the wheel yourself manually. So I'm going to show you here that the wheel, one, will always want to lean to the right. Now I'm holding it right now because I'm just leaving my driveway, and obviously I don't want to hit anything on the way out, so we're going to take a turn here. This is going onto my street. Now it is a gravel road, so it is a bit noisy, but we take the turn, and the wheel, as you can see, boom, straight off to the right, and it does not want to correct itself. And now if I keep going and without correcting, we will go right into the ditch. There's the ditch, we are almost hitting it. So I recorrect it, reposition it, go into the center of the road, and again, we are always leaning to the right severely. Now I have two bikes coming up this way, so I'm just going to hold the wheel and pull to the right here. So yes, owning this vehicle has been a very frustrating thing because I've never dealt with this with the vehicle before. It happened about 2 months after I owned it. First time I brought it in, it was the wheel was totally crooked. Came back from Black Friday, brought it into Villa Toyota, and he did a full front end alignment, full rear end alignment, whole alignment was needed. They told me it was, one, because I own sports suspension, that when you hit bumps the suspension may get out of whack. And then I actually got the real answer that, you know, it's a new vehicle, maybe it just broke in. Now, as you can see, I'm driving, and it's always crooked. It's always leaning to the right, and it's very frustrating, especially, like I said, when you're driving in snow or when you're driving fast on the highway. You always have to concentrate, making for a very stressful drive. When you drive the car through the city, it's not the most frustrating. It's frustrating, definitely, but it's not as concerning. It's still frustrating, though. And I've told Toyota that it is a dangerous drive. It is a safety concern, and they have brushed it off, saying that we have fixed the problem and that you should not. You should drive the car as normal, as there is no problem with the vehicle, that everything is within Toyota spec. However, I have argued multiple times that it is not. Again, we are turning to the left, and the wheel does not come back to center. It stays to the left, and I have to recorrect it, reposition the car, and then hold the wheel. And I brought it back center, and you're going to see that right now we're going up a hill, so it is a lot of power going to the wheels, and it's trying to straighten the car up, but it's not really. You have to hold it again. You're going to see, like, this is what the wheel is always like. It always wants to stay like this, and it's very frustrating, especially when you're driving on a crown of a road where you have to fight the wheel constantly. Now, I have brought the vehicle in multiple times to try and get it fixed. He did fix it once. I was pretty much the last time I brought it in before I went to Chicago. He brought it into his mechanic bay 5 separate times to readjust it. First time he readjusted it way to the left, and I told him, no, it's way too much. He's like, no, don't worry, we're going to get this right. So when he came back 4 times later, and granted, he did get it. You can see the wheel's not going back to center after making a left turn. We're making a left turn here, you'll see it's not going back to center. So he fixed the vehicle after the 5 times it went into the mechanic bay, and I thanked him for it, and I asked him, has he ever seen anything like this before? He said no. So I was told, after I called up Toyota Canada again to explain to them that it seems the vehicle has been fixed and that, you know, I was going to test it out. However, I still didn't feel safe. I believe it was Kathleen at the time who told me, don't worry, it's not a matter of safety, that everything will be fine. Drive the car as normal. Drive it as you normally would. So I took her word for it, took it to Montreal, put 800 and some odd kilometers on it, and everything was fine. So I was happy he was driving fine. The wheel was nice and straight. It wasn't crooked like this. So a week later is when I went to Chicago. So I took my vehicle from work to Toronto, drove to Toronto. It was an excellent ride. The wheel was nice, great, couldn't complain. Picked up my friend, or went to my friend's house, slept over there. We left at 4 a.m. in the morning, made it to the border. About an hour past the border, out of nowhere, the wheel goes back to what it is now, which was a very stressful time because you're driving very fast in the States. They drive about 140 kilometers an hour, and here you are driving on unfamiliar roads, trying to fight with the wheel. And again, you can see the wheel is always crooked. So it was very, very, dangerous because we were taking the car through uncharted territories and trying to keep up with traffic, and the car was unstable. My friend noted that it felt very unstable, and that something totally felt different from the ride from the Toronto to the border till now. So I got to Chicago, parked the car, left it there, contacted Toyota, and as you can see, the wheel again is not turning back. And basically ended up going through Villa Toyota again, and I brought in Toyota Canada, and they said there's nothing wrong with the vehicle, everything's fine, even though you can see the wheel is not straight, and the car always wants to pull to either side, and on the highway it's very unstable. So that's the issue I've been having with my car. We're doing a right-hand turn now, and again, watch the wheel. It doesn't come back to center at all, and I'm going onto the grass on my parents' property, and we almost hit the fence. So that's the issue I've been having. I've clearly documented it multiple times. I've driven multiple vehicles, including a 2012 Toyota Corolla S, a similar vehicle to mine, exact same car to mine, just 1 year newer, and it did not have the problem, and I have a video showing that. I drove my father's 2012 Hyundai Elantra, which has excellent steering, no problem. The wheel comes back to center, does not lean to either side. I rented a 2011 Ford Fusion SEL all-wheel drive. Again, same thing, the wheel always responded appropriately. I test drove a 2012 Hyundai Sonata, same thing, no concern. And I also drove a 2012 Chevrolet Cruise, again, no problem, the wheel always wanted to come back to center. For some reason, this car, it does not do that. I have multiple videos showing it. There are people on the internet who've had the same problems, who've tried to get it resolved, and it just does not seem that Toyota Canada is willing to cooperate in resolving the issue. They're just brushing off the issue, not seeing that it is a safety concern. And I have pointed out clearly to 2 different managers that it is a safety concern, and I do not feel safe driving this vehicle on long hauls. So hopefully it does, get resolved, and that something is made of it, because there is a concern. You buy a new vehicle for peace of mind, and it's definitely not peace of mind. It's been anything but that. So I hope that does demonstrate the problem, and you'll see probably some more videos coming out with different vehicles that I've test driven, demonstrating that they do not perform like this vehicle. They perform much better, and that they are much safer, smoother, steadier ride.